So we're going to continue where we stopped yesterday. And we're going to continue from chapter 6. Yeah, welcome to today's read with me. So in this chapter, we're going to be looking at these are the things that we're planning to learn from and working with hypnosis and trance states, your inner dialogue, building up your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Okay, so these are the three things we'll be planning or anticipating to learn from this chapter. So, without wasting time, let's dive into it. Practicing mental self coaching. Practicing mental self coaching. One quite popular method you can use to develop your trader personality is self coaching. You can use a variety of techniques, and because it's self coaching, you get to decide which tools to use and when. In chapter 7 and 8, you get the chance to explore methodologies from the following fields: systemic psychotherapy, systemic psychotherapy, positive psychology, neurolinguistic programming. You can learn techniques that can help you to process and dissolve harmful patterns of thoughts and behavior, to transform negative beliefs into positive ones. Take on a personal perspective that enable you to deal with loss in a professional manner. Okay, so these are the things we can learn. We learn techniques that can help us to process, and like we said, we should always see trading as a personal development journey. So seeing trading as personal development, something we will see that, at least from what we are learning so far from this book, we see that the thing is trying to kind of, develop us as a person rather than as a trader. So, and if we become a better person, then our trading becomes better as well. So you also learn techniques that can help you to process and dissolve harmful pattern of thought and behavior, transform negative beliefs into positive ones. Imagine. And does the area even have to do with trading alone? That's a lot to do with other stuff too. So transforming negative beliefs into positive ones. Take on new perspective that enable you to deal with loss in a professional manner. Maintain a focused state of relaxation in order to maintain emotional balance. Imagine that. Increase motivation, self-awareness, and self-efficacy. Develop your potential as well as your mental strength. Your potential as well as your mental strength. We are becoming a more better person when we become a trader. So, tip: a simple but effective tool in self-coaching. A simple but effective tool in self-coaching is the use of a success journal, which can integrate with your personal trading journal. Recording your successes in writing can prove to be particularly motivating. When it comes to self-coaching, one particular challenge is that you need to be able to ask yourself the right questions, including the uncomfortable ones. Problems you may have swept under the rug and left for years may inevitably come to light. You have to take on the role of your sharpest critic and overcome significant internal resistance. The subconscious strategies you've tended to use for tackling problems or difficult situations may work in everyday life, but they probably won't work when trading on the stock exchange. And as we are learning from here, everyday life is different from trading. There's a way you deal with life situations that you can't deal with forex situation or trading situations the same way. So the subconscious strategies you've tended to use for tackling problems or difficult situations may work in everyday life, but they probably won't work because this trading is a mirror to reveal yourself to yourself. So remember, self-coaching helps you to get to know yourself even better with all your personal strengths, weaknesses, and inherent potential. Looking at the development of your trading personality, what have you achieved so far? First and foremost, you have developed the ability to dictate and correct specific trading problems. The correction that occurs by way of processes and routines that prevent these problems ever arising again. You also have learned that you will be successful in trading if your core competencies as well as your trading style suit your personality. And after you get used to keeping a trading journal, you will set out on a journey of discovery. You will write down your thoughts and feelings and discover your own personality. You will assume full responsibility for your development. The practical goal of self coaching is that you can come to a place where you can accept that at least half of all your trades on average will end up with a loss, even more than half. Beginners always want to avoid losing trades and be in the right. Experienced traders always expect losses, yet consistently work on limit such losses when they occur. They know when they have backed the wrong horse, yet they don't let such failures unsettle them. They have their emotions in check and know what they can and cannot manage and control. They are mentally prepared for trading and have achieved an emotional balance. The market is what dictates the pace. Your task is to observe and to analyze and then to follow movements in the markets. When you determine that the probability of success is high, your trade based on what you see. The market is what dictates the pace. Your task is to observe and to analyze and then to follow movements in the markets. When you determine that the probability of success is high, and that's what we are doing. It's a probability game. And we are here to only follow the market that has higher probability of winning. That's through your edge. And there is a point I want to make out like as we are studying in line with what we are doing. So it is easier for us to read and to quickly get what the person is saying. Hmm. You trade based on what you say, not on what you believe or hope for. You cut out a slice of the recognized price pattern, no more, no less. The path to becoming a successful trader is long and arduous. Wow, it's long and arduous. You will need to remove some boulders out of your way. In that sense, these are three largest psychological obstacles to success. Letting emotions determine how you cope with loss, becoming overwhelmed by stress and fear, letting negativity dominate your internal dialogue. Using self-coaching techniques, using self-coaching methods. We discover ways to dissolve any psychological obstacles to your success while at the same time developing your mental strength. So it's another subtopic benefiting from self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis, seeing your subconscious mind as a trading ally. Benefiting from self-hypnosis, seeing your subconscious mind as a trading ally. Benefiting from hypnosis, seeing your subconscious mind as a trading ally. So public perception of hypnosis varies widely, but the best way to describe hypnosis is to say that it's simply a natural state of total relaxation, or you are totally relaxed. More specifically, hypnosis refers to the process of putting someone into a deep, relaxing meditative or trance-like waking state. It is a temporary altered state of consciousness that provides direct access to the subconscious. Conscious thought processes are restricted. This trance condition can also be induced by self-hypnosis. When someone is in a trance state, it is possible to make suggestions that work directly on the subconscious. When someone is in a trance state, it is possible to make suggestions that work directly on the subconscious. It will seem to be the case that recurring problematic trading patterns can be resolved by the targeted influencing of an individual's subconscious and involuntary processes. In other words, one can use targeted suggestion to activate a variety of particularly desirable processes in an individual that's in a trance state. Technical stuff. Brain research has demonstrated the effectiveness of hypnosis. Using imaging techniques, researchers have been able to design changes in activity level in certain brain areas. Hypnotic suggestions evoke measurable changes to information processing and brain. So another subtopic, investigating the various forms of self-hypnosis. In principle, anyone can put themselves in a trance-like state. However, it requires some practice to achieve a stable and deep relaxed state. You've probably heard of autogenic training. No, I haven't heard of it before. A well-known self-hypnosis method, mental relaxation techniques train your subconscious to believe in a desired goal. Mental relaxation techniques train your subconscious to believe in a desired goal. This autosuggestion can be okay. Autosuggestion can be strengthened by mental visualization because it turns out that the image in your mind have a greater impact than words. The key lies in repetition so that subconscious thought processes assume the desired goal. Wow. Remember, the wide variety of meditation techniques available today also tend to serve one purpose to achieve a state of consciousness where deep realization can be attained. In addition to autogenic training, other methods of self-hypnosis can be considered as relaxation techniques or a form of meditation. For example, targeted breathing exercise. This can trigger a trance-like state. Progressive muscle relaxation techniques. This can be used to achieve a deeply relaxed state by alternatively tensing and relaxing specific muscle groups. You can reach a deep relaxation state encompassing the entire body. And when the body is relaxed, the mind is relaxed as well. The high fixation method. In this method, which can be quite effective and fast acting, you stare at an object of your choice without moving your eyelids. After a while, the eye muscle grow tired and your eyes close with a deep exhalation on your part, and you automatically relax. When that occurs, you simply keep your eyes closed and take deep conscious breaths. Warning, when attempting any form of self-hypnosis, make sure you are in a calm and quiet area where you will be undisturbed and most importantly, where you can remain safe. Remember, don't worry about how you will remove yourself from a hypnotic trance. Just count backward slowly from 5 to 1. That reactivates your thinking apparatus. Or just imagine that you are returning to the surface of the water after a long dive and take a deep breath with your eyes open. Tip: the internet has a lot of how-tos for self-hypnosis and trance induction, so you are sure to find plenty of literature on the topic. Progressive muscle relaxation and high fixation seems to be particularly simple and effective techniques. Find out which method suits you best. Initiating a change process in translate. It is good news that you have many hypnosis and trance induction methods available to you, but the important aspect is that you actually use them to trigger changes in your problematic thoughts and behavior patterns. The whole idea is that you change your perceptions and also your emotional reactions too. Hypnosis isn't just for improving your trading personality. In psychotherapy, hypnosis techniques are used to treat stress and anxiety as well as to increase self-esteem. Try it if you are interested. Look for a hypnotherapist. It's worth it. Internal dialogues, talking to yourself when trading. Talking to yourself is a natural phenomenon. You probably don't even realize that this inner dialogue is always taking place. It's part of an important psychological process that is designed to work through impressions and experiences. Such incidences of talking to yourself are particularly intensive when strong emotions are triggered and you can't confide in anyone. This is a typical situation in trading. A business dominated by lone wolves. Or do you have people in your circle with whom you regularly share your trading experiences? Does someone stand by you as you lay down your psychological burdens and express compassion for the joys and sufferings of the trading business? If so, you are lucky exception. Unfortunately, experience shows that you are more likely to experience a lack of understanding and a heavy dose of judicial judgments. Two, be on the lookout for like-minded people who understand the ups and downs of trading. Build up your in-person network as well as your virtual ones. For more on how to do this, see chapter 5. This endless conversation you have with yourself determine your thinking and your behavior, the way you perceive the market, and finally your trading results. These internal dialogues control your emotional states and physiology in ways that mirror how your affirmations or core beliefs do. The inner voice of yours has a significant impact on your motivation. Your self-worth and self-confidence depend on whether you come to terms with this inner voice in a friendly or hostile manner. In the end, how do you actually treat yourself? Are you appreciative and understanding of what your voice is saying, or or are you derogatory and reproachful? Warning: your intellect believes the story you are constantly telling it. It takes everything in, not bothering to distinguish between what might be positive and what might be negative. It probably won't surprise you that the negative things you say to yourself are a big problem in trading. Many traders destroy their self-esteem and self-worth when they tear themselves down with their own self-directed derogatory thoughts. The result is sense of inferiority, of not being good enough, of worthlessness. That is partly due to the nature of the business. The psychological pressure is immense and enhances your natural tendencies and conditioning like a magnifying glass. In a worst case scenario, it leads to following vicious cycle of self-sabotage. You make mistakes and suffer losses. The anger and frustration lead you to blame yourself. You even cause yourself out to relieve the prayer. Your self-esteem suffer, you doubt your ability and may feel like a loser under certain circumstances. Your susceptibility to error increases and you are emotionally vulnerable. Negative self-talk functions like a prayer valve. Okay. You impulsively allow your anger to run free, so you momentarily feel relieved. Yet such relief comes at a high cost. It causes lasting damage to your self-confidence and self-worth, and you end up doubting your skills. Negativity is self-destructive and has caused some traders to give up on themselves. Anyway, I'm not successful to this because I always believe in my ability. I've done everything necessary. What I'm supposed to do, I've done it. I practice, I do all the stuff. So let's take that level again. It said negative self-talk function like a prayer valve. You impulsively allow your anger to run free, so you momentarily feel relieved. Yet such reliefs come at a high cost. It causes lasting damage to your self-confidence and self-worth. Okay? And you end up doubting your skills. Negativity is a self-destructive and has caused some traders to give up on themselves. But it doesn't need to go that far. In this chapter, you learn a variety of techniques and methods that can get you back on the road to success. Warning: psychological studies show that anxiety and negativity are closely related. One psychological studies show that anxiety and negativity are closely correlated. The bigger your fears and worries, the worse your inner dialogue. They tend to reinforce each other. Studies in high performance sports demonstrate the impact of negativity on performance during competition. An athlete plagued by self-doubt cannot reach their full potential. Another subtopic, developing positive conversations with yourself. How can you be successful if you constantly criticize and blame yourself and take all mistakes personally? Wouldn't it be more effective if you were to talk up your own courage, strength, and self-confidence? With that in mind, I ask you to be sure that you pay close attention to your inner thoughts and what. Remember, negative thoughts, pattern are learned, habits are routines. It might be the case that you no longer have a choice. Perhaps you have no control over your internal conversations because you are unaware of them. The challenge of self-coaching lies in being able to recognize negative patterns, unlearn them, and then replace them with positive thoughts. Learning to take control of your inner dialogue can be your first step in radically changing your life. Warning: identifying with negative thought patterns hinders your success in trading, not the negative thought patterns alone. It is a clear sign that you have lost control. Here is a task for you to carry out. Pick up your trading journal and write down everything that spontaneously comes to mind when you think about your own inner self-talk. Pay particular attention to what's going on in your mind when you are trading. Make two columns. Enter positive statements that you say about yourself in one column and the negative statements in the other. Observe your thoughts processes in the coming days and weeks and add to the list. Note, this exercise works best if you do this while trading. Mark down every whether you address yourself using the first person I or you dissociate yourself from what you are doing by using second person you. The objective of this exercise is to A, identify your negative self-talk and B, create an awareness of your own thoughts. Then you can replace the negative attitude you are holding on to with positive beliefs and affirmations. Adopting an observer role as you record what's going on helps you. It helps you create clarity and emotional distance. It also allows you to document your development process objectively. As a bonus, you get to take on an active role in designing your own thoughts. You can implement these tasks by following these steps. One, become aware of your inner voice when you are trading and write down all negative thoughts. Here are several typical examples of self-doubt, self-denigration, and self-accusation. You are just too stupid to find the correct entry point. The fact that you didn't let your profit run shows how dumb you are. Hmm. Here are several typical examples of self-doubt and self-denigration and self-accusations. You are just too stupid to find the correct entry point. The fact that you didn't let your profit run shows how dumb you are. You are a loser. So it is no surprise that you are constantly losing money. You never learn to implement your self-talks according to you. It's all your fault. You just can't do it. You are complete. Let's keep what is something my strategy. Okay. So the statements in this list might alarm you, but the fact is that when you see here, what you see here is just a small selection of what traders think about themselves. And I'm not even including those words of a four-letter variety that often crop up when traders criticize themselves. The truth is, you won't believe how hard some traders judge themselves. Their self-criticisms are filled with gross exaggeration, yet it all feeds through to them. This is self-destructive cause. Tip: always ask yourself whether you are reacting so strongly to the actual market situation or to what you are telling yourself. Does your reaction have more to do with you? Number two, categorize your notes. Do your inner conversations tend to focus more on self-worth or are they more about managing trading losses? Number three, spend some time thinking about how your inner dialogue is outside trading situations one get cost. Ask yourself which parallels you see, which differences. If a single specific negative limiting belief keeps turning up in your inner conversations, so much so that it's like a red thread running through all areas of your life, it can be a serious underlying problem for you. It might make sense to seek psychological help. 4. Use the mental methods you learn about in this chapter to replace your negative thoughts with positive convictions. Affirmations and positive beliefs seem the most suitable method here. Also, under some circumstances, dissociation and reframing techniques may also work well in trying to rewrite and interpret negative thoughts pattern in a more positive direction. Whew. Example, suppose initially that your inner voice says, I'm such an idiot. I didn't let one profit me. A dissociated reframing would be that was stupid not to let not to let this profit you. The result you no longer personally identify with the error, meaning you are able to protect yourself. I think the most decisive thing you can do is to take control of your inner self-talk and no longer identify with the negative thoughts. Let your own inner observer create psychological distance. The inner observer watches and takes action when necessary by reinterpreting, reframing, or replacing negative thoughts. A consciously positive and appreciative inner dialogue, accompanied by thinking out loud, it strengthens you mentally. You become more self-reliant and resilient. Positive beliefs and affirmations will help you reprogram your subconscious mind, dramatically changing your self-perception. At the end of that process, you will have developed the mindset for successful trading. Tip. One practical way to interrupt negative in a conversation is to personally intervene in a forceful way. That means every time your inner voice says something negative, shout out loud, stop, or nonsense. Such a destruction can work to abruptly interrupt the negative thoughts. Scientific studies have proven the effectiveness of positive inner conversations. In experiments with students, the trial participants who spoke to themselves frequently, also out loud, and asked themselves lots of questions who were able to solve complex tasks better than those who remained largely silent. Tip. Treat yourself as your own best friend. Be appreciative and benevolent. Think it through. Would you really swear at and address derogatory comments to a good trader colleague if they made a mistake, as you do to yourself? No, I personally don't do negative self-talk because I believe I know the power of my words. Remember, negative inner conversations indicate a lack of self-confidence and weak self-esteem. Mental self-coaching can work to help you strengthen your self-confidence and self-esteem in sustainable ways. Trust your inner voice. It will help you. Promoting self-confidence and self-esteem. Trading is a volatile business and thus not necessarily suitable if your goal is to promote your self-confidence and self-esteem. Markets are unpredictable. Unexpected movements continually challenge your abilities and put you on an emotional roller coaster ride. Among other things, regular losses and missed profits are a burden for the trader side and eat away at your self-image. Your need to be recognized by others for your particular talent will rarely be satisfied by the stock market. Remember, know the difference between self-confidence and self-esteem. Self-confidence is the confidence in your own ability and depends on the situation. Self-esteem comes from inside and determines your perception. Example, you have mastered the tools in trading, the analysis methods, trading system, and all that comes with it. This gives you self-confidence, but doesn't necessarily give you self-esteem. This fact makes you emotionally vulnerable. Why do so many celebrities in the film or music industry suffer from depression? It's because despite their outstanding performances, they lack self-worth. and have low self-esteem. Conversely, or you can have high self-esteem yet have absolutely no trust in your athletic ability. Such a lack doesn't dampen your self-perception because you have a clear picture of your values and principles and you believe in yourself worth. Technical stuff. According to psychological studies, three-quarters of all people suffer from low self-esteem. The psychological and physical problem are sometimes severe. High self-esteem is the basis of any true measure of self-worth and self-confidence. You've probably heard someone say at some point that trading is 80% psychology and 20% methodology. Professional traders have internalized this fact and continuously work on their personal development. Less experienced traders focus on methodology. Their factual knowledge of market and instruments, as well as technical and fundamental indicators, can be impressive. However, with less experienced traders, it is often accompanied by a fragile self-confidence. Technical know-how doesn't help you for long in the trading world. If deep down you don't believe in yourself. Doubting that you deserve success undermines your self-esteem. Subliminal fears are usually the result. You start sabotaging yourself if you think you don't deserve any reward. Your subconscious mind will prevent any success in trading. You will not find the emotional balance you need for trading and lacking confidence in your abilities. You will also end up lacking motivation. Warning: traders who make their self-worth dependent on their success in the stock market will constantly be afraid that the basis of their self-worth will be withdrawn. Losses might throw them off track. What are the reasons for low self-worth when it comes to trading? Childhood experiences that continue to have an effect. These are lack of acceptance and appreciation and feelings of inadequacies or being worthless or rejected. Reproaches from others sound like this. You can't do that. You won't be able to manage that and you will never get it. A series of traumatic losses. These are feelings of inability and failure. Experiences of failure accompanying a total loss of some kind. These are feelings of shame, guilt, or worthlessness. Negative inner self-talk. These are feelings of inferiority and weaknesses. External negative influences. These are contempts and misunderstanding on the part of others. Trading isn't a serious occupation. It's just a dubious form of gambling. Experience shows that most people hide or suppress the reason why their self-worth is low. The fear of having to seriously deal with traumatic experiences and sabotaging beliefs naturally looms large. If you want to be a successful trader, however, running away from the truth isn't an option. You have to stop running when you end up at the stock exchange, or else you will run up against brick wall. Not a good outcome for your loss. Okay. So how can you build self-confidence and self-esteem in trading? What can you do to strengthen your self-image? It isn't an easy task. It takes time. This chapter focuses on a host of self-coaching techniques you can use. But for now, if I want to recommend a little exercise for self-reflection developed by the psychologist Catherine Scott Stotts, I'm sure you have a good idea of how weak or how strong your self-confidence and self-esteem are. Do you? Here is what I want you to do. Choose five people from your immediate circle. Write down what you think these people think of you. What is it you feel you can offer this individual? Reliability, humor, trust. What do you feel secure or confident about? Trading or your athletic ability? The ease with which you can get to know new people. With that done, go ahead and write down all the characteristics you don't feel comfortable about. What would make you more self assured? This exercise should give you a good idea of what the self image looks like. You have identified subconscious beliefs and maybe you have an idea of what you need in what form, excuse me, to build your self-confidence and self-esteem. Tip, if you have trouble in imagining what positive statements other people might be making about you, this reflective mirroring exercise by Ketron's thoughts can help you. Close your eyes and enter a deep feeling state. Imagine that your best friend is standing in front of you. You see exactly what they are wearing and how they smile. Two. Three. Imagine that you've stepped outside of yourself, switch over to the other side, and now see yourself through that person's side. It will look as though you are standing across from yourself. Hmm. Seek for yourself the characteristics others love and appreciate about you. Feel all the joy that others feel when they meet you. Connect all your good thoughts and feelings and take them back with you to your side. Spend some time enjoying these feelings of esteem and affection. You know that it's great. Take a few deep breaths and open your eyes again. I have my comment here. This exercise is simple and effective. Walking through the steps works to help improve your self-image. You are sure to feel better and your self-esteem will surely benefit. Remember, self-perception is often distorted. If you are, if you tend to underestimate yourself, learn to see yourself as others see you. Self-perception is often distorted. If you tend to underestimate yourself, learn how to see yourself as others see you. Here's another simple visualization exercise for recharging your self-confidence, your confidence. It is called the chair sword. Pick two chairs, the desk chair you sit on when you are trading, and another chair. Place the chair opposite each other. Sit on the other non-trading chair and close your eyes with a deep breath. Imagine that your future self is sitting on the desk or trading chair. This version of yourself has significant trust in you and a strong sense of self-confidence. Use all your senses to put yourself into your future. And how does it feel? How does your body react? Your posture, your facial expression, what you are wearing. Swap chairs so that you are now sitting on the desk chair of your self-confident self. You have internalized the good feelings. Drop into it. Yourself physically. Breathe deeply and enjoy the newly gained self-confidence. In figurative sense, you have charged the desk with good feelings of self-confidence and self-esteem. If you regularly repeat this exercise, you will notice the positive effects. Tip: the two exercises in this section of visualization in this chapter are helpful as well when you use them in conjunction with not non neuro-linguistic programming anchoring technique. You have the ability to strengthen yourself for the long term. Remember, stop looking outside yourself for help and support. Okay? Stable self-esteem can come only from the inside. Building on your inner strengths means you won't doubt yourself and your abilities. Trading losses will no longer throw you off track because you no longer have to impress anyone and you don't need confirmation from the market. You are confident and you know your limits. You have a positive self-image regardless of any weaknesses and you might have or mistakes you might make in trading. Remember, over 50 years ago, the Australian American filmmaker Joseph von Sternberg, he is of the Blue Angel film. said that we humans spend majority of our lives trying to earn the respect of others, but spend hardly any time gaining our own self-respect. Okay. I guess we've come to the end of chapter 6. So we'll be starting here tomorrow, chapter 7. So thank you very much. Have a lovely. This is a very the shortest one we've done so far. So we're going to continue tomorrow. Please let's assume I have enough time now. Would have to two do something today, but nonetheless, this should be the end of today's read with me because I have a lot of things on my table. Today is Friday. God bless us all. Have a lovely and a profitable day.